Welcome, Amanda Waring, to Voices of Elevate. And what a voice you have and are bringing to Elevate, a voice that has been used in acting, comedy, campaigning, and singing, even performing for the Queen.
Yes.
Amazing, such a force of light to be reckoned with in the world. Yes, so I'm quite interested actually in the films that you do because you've you're award-winning films, but therefore
Yeah.
campaigns, aren't they?
Yeah, so I'm sort of I wear many hats, as you can see. I might swap them during the interview. Well, who knows? Who knows? Yes, I do, darling. The story of my filmmaking was really to say that my mother was dying of leukemia and the age of 70, and the way she was treated in a certain hospital shocked me to the core. It was as if she was invisible, demoralized staff, barely making even eye contact with her. And she felt like a caged animal. And to see my mum crushed by this experience, I just was determined to change hospitals. We swapped hospitals. We realized that, you can have good medical care, but without emotional care, without dignity, respect, seeing the whole person, healing is impaired. So, long story short, actually, my mom, she lived for another year and a half. But even though, and I had her on quite a lot of holistic medicine alongside what she chose with the chemo as well. Um, and both of those approaches had supported her, and that's what she was feeling. But my medicine, if you like, my voice was, Mum didn't want me to say when anything was wrong. She was terrified of being sort of sabotaged in some way. She had no mental illness, but the shock of an end of life aspect. And because I've been singing and working with the dying since I was 8 years old, I have a lot of knowledge around how to hold someone through their passing as well. But for me, the worst thing was I have a voice and I wanted to to share it. So I waited till Mum then had passed, and that was the moment when she'd chosen to pass, and that was peaceful for her. So could I do? What could I do? So I sold my flat to make a film in memory of my mom. I was a single mother, and everyone said, what are you doing? But I had to make this film. I had to make a film. I'd never made a film before. I'd been acting in quite a few films. I had to make a film that would show the what lack of care does to the spirit, to the human being, to look closer, see me. And after that film, I had it shown sort of at BAFTA, and it's gone around the world with my other work. So I've made 50 other films that highlight end of life care issues. I've set up the Dignity and Care campaign, the work with the Dying Matters Coalition, and so many campaigns. And so that's what I love to do with my films is provide inspirational, true stories, because you can have all the white paper and legislation that you can, but till people's emotions are engaged,
Mm.
they're not going to feel that motivation. So that, and just now I'm about to put out a whole sort of digital versions of all of my films and my trainings and training packs. So I speak around the world uh, on compassionate, dignified care for those who are frail, challenged, or those with learning difficulties and other aspects. And so I love doing that. But
That's amazing. That's just such amazing light work, that's
oh,
affecting so many people that has come from such a place of pain,
yes,
you
I
know,
know. And
but
darling,
transmuted into the most powerful light.
oh, I love how honestly, you capture things in your ability so beautifully. Just
Oh.
thank you, because sometimes people ask me what is it that I do, and because I do so many things all at once, which suits me with my brain, which suits you with your brain, we're good with that. It's like, overwhelmed sometimes. But I need to feel that, what I'm doing can reach people. And I'm on a mission this year to really, really activate my own presence in this world, with all that I have to offer, because I recognize that it could reach many, many more people. Um, and the film's now a digital product that will be there for those who are who work in care, doctors and nurses and nursing homes will be using those, and governments, but also for the individual carers. So I've made a film and music and like a loving balm for those who are caring for relatives right now, who don't have that support or guidance. So that's on my YouTube channel as a kind of support, which is Amanda Waring Films. So yes, subscribe and you'll see aspects of all the different things that I do.
Yeah, I'm going to subscribe.
Hey!
I think it's just wonderful because my mum worked in a care home for 35 years, and she was very caring and very clean, but others weren't. And I think that, you know, it's horrifying, some of the attitudes in these care places. So well done you,
Thank
quite
you, darling.
frankly.
And
Yes.
but I also want to add, you know, that I have trained in thousands of homes. I've been called, well, hundreds of homes, sorry, but I've been called in by, like, where the homes were exposed by Panorama for the worst cases of abuse, to come in and turn the whole care homes around with my trainings. But I have also seen the most beautiful care, like you said. And I think now one of the things that I'm working on impacting, I hope, is to work with, it may have to be the government, I don't know. We'll look at what it means, where they've taken away the visas from those that are incredibly beautiful carers that I've come across, carers from other countries, and very few English carers at the moment. So I want to inspire people to come into care, but I want us to cherish the carers that we do have and support them. And because, you know, I've worked in care. I'm there. I've been, you know, on the ground and all of that. It's a rewarding job, but it is challenging without community together. So a care home should be run as a home. That is, everybody is important, and that includes the carers. That includes everybody. Then when that's put into place, it's more obvious when things are wrong, or when maybe there's a carer that needs to work in admin because they really don't have the empathy or patience.
So another thing is your poetry, isn't it? And that's something
Yes.
that that's really amazing.
Oh,
It's just more light work.
yeah. Oh, thank you. Well, yes. So the poetry's been fascinating, and I'm loving the journey with this. So one of my poems that is a powerful peace activation, which I think I will read to you in a little minute, if it feels good, because I have a very strong vision that's come through the poetry that I write, comes from, again, pain. So it's come from my pain points, or it's come from pain points that I observe in others in the world. And for me, it's about bringing things back into balance, and to bring back things back into emotional balance, and to turn trauma into treasure is too glib a word, but actually, you know, my traumas have been my treasure because they have allowed me to express myself. But I think of all of those people that have not the ability to express, who can't speak, who are shut down, who are dumbed down, who don't have that liberation of expression. So for me, the poetry was part of my own healing as well, but also observing and recognizing that as women, and not excluding men or anybody of any gender that they choose. For me, it is about the sacred feminine, which we all have in our aspects, and it's about allowing that to elevate, to rise up, to come into the consciousness more. And what I work with my poetry is exactly that, to inspire us to be sacred activists, and we can do this. We can change this world by visioning our new world, and we can't do that without emptying. And sometimes we have to empty all that grief and resentment and unfairness and horror and whatever is needed, to then be able to have enough space and light to see a vision of what could be and be developed. So the poetry works to empty, to inspire, to to cherish, to acknowledge. Yeah, so all the different aspects.
Yes, I love the
So,
way you managed to turn all of that into you know, how you know, the rise of the feminine, and yeah, just how that is part of the new earth,
yeah,
is that because it's been squashed for so long, and there's so many problems because
yeah,
of that, isn't there?
yeah.
And it's just,
And it's
oh,
understanding care and compassion, and you know, on some levels that is, you know, we both aspects of ourselves have those strengths, the male and the female, and we
mm,
absolutely need both in balance,
yeah.
in balance.
Yes, because you know, we need the masculine, we need the sort of the force that they've had, but it's been too much. It's been too much kind of
Yes,
pushing and money and that kind of side, and you know,
yeah,
and it's just a bit heartless, isn't it? Like
yes,
the way that they've led us,
yes, heartless is a
and
very good
wars and
word.
all the things
Yeah,
that, you know, out the wars out of greed. You know,
yes.
it's a
You're
very masculine energy that's
you're
created
making me
that.
you're making me read this poem, because this is
Oh, okay,
maybe
great.
all right. So this is one of my poems. This poem I was blessed to read at the has been shared on Zoom, but at the United Nations, and I do a lot of work for world peace around the world with different amazing groups and the Department of Peace Building and Ungun America. So I have this whole other nighttime life where I'm on Zoom. I don't know quite how I manage my sleep patterns, but well, I'm managing. But this is called We Are Family. We are daughters and mothers and grandmothers, and we create life. We did not give birth to children to kill, maim, or fight. We say no more devastation and shattered hearts. We implore the governments to become a part of building bridges for peace, no longer chained to the profits of war that only reassure those who live off the ammunition, the smokescreen of battle, the battleground of hate. Make love, not war. We swore to honor our brothers and sisters. We are family. We are family. Drum this to the world. Strum this to the world. Peace is possible. War is impossible. As an antidote to unity, let's become one community, where peace is held at its center as a sacred right, where we no longer have to fight for rights to be heard or seen, where a Department of Peace Building allows us to intervene in the ways of tolerance and kindness, moving us from blindness into balance. We are family. We are family. Let's move away from autocracy towards a true democracy, remembering our interdependence and making non-violence a priority. Let's ungun America, shun the dogs of war, restore communication and recalibration. Let's shift into the celebration of our shared humanity, creating a culture of peace, where the vultures who pick at the spoils of war are shown what hands are for, to reach out, brother to brother, sister to sister, father to mother. We are family. We are family. We stand for peace. We dance the release of grief. We cry our pain for those who have lost their lives again and again and again. Oppression, suppression, depression, starvation. Let's move into an activation of solutions, a heart-based revolution. Peace is possible. We have to bring it into being by seeing it in our future. Drum it into life, not drums of war, drums of celebration, not his story, but her story, our story, not glorifying war, but honoring peace and the release of the shackles of blame and shame as we regain one love, one family. We are daughters and mothers and grandmothers, and we are stepping up and stepping in, a rainbow hoop of all colors and all nations, not dying for war, but living for peace. We are family. We are family. We are family.
Yes, we are family, you know, and that's something that we're remembering. That's part of the remembering, you know, is that it doesn't matter your color, you know, like you said, your gender, all of it, you know, what your religion, what country you're from, we are all family, you know. And my personal opinion is we can't necessarily change what is by asking them to change it. I think I protested for many years. I was a big protester, and I was always on the front line, and I've been thrown to the ground by police, and I've been proper, you know, proper warrior. And but it never changed anything, you know, when I was doing that. It just kind of made me feel better because I was doing something productive
Yes.
towards change, but it didn't really change anything. Um, but I feel that the way that we change ourselves and the way that we in like heal ourselves and the way that we interact, that kind of creates a ripple, doesn't it? And I really feel that the more ripples we create, the that will just change eventually.
It will, darling, but also it's about awakening some feminine leaders as well. So part of the
Yes.
coaching and mentoring I do is awakening feminine leaders in whatever way you're to be a leader.
Yeah.
But also I really believe in the power of collective ceremony.
Mm.
So for me, that is shifting the collective consciousness, but it's also taking sacred action where people feel inspired to then in their smaller areas, grassroots areas,
Mm.
look at what peace looks like and what the solutions can be, because we can come into apathy and we can come into overwhelm. And just as you've said, we can always add our voice, thought, prayer to a situation,
Mm.
but we also can open our imagination to what else is possible. What other way can
Oceans.
we look at this? You know,
Mm.
I have a vision, and one of my visions, and I do a lot of ceremonies by the sea. So do large collective ceremonies as a celebrant and ceremonialist as well. And to work with the ocean for me, so I have a vision where everybody, a bit like with Hands Across America, they had people joining hands, and it was to raise money for the homeless. But this is to raise money, and well, not raise money but necessarily, but it is to actually connect and collaborate with the power of water
Mm.
as the message carrier of our desire for peace.
Oh, I've got goosebumps.
So we are creating, so from before I do Elevate, I'm just starting to put that all into a process so that as we understand that the ocean and the water that we are made of, it's about speaking to the waters within us. It's
Mm.
about listening to the power of the waters as well, the consciousness. What do they need to say to us at the moment? You know, they are muddied and overfished and all of that, but water as a living, loving consciousness that we can share and say, please, please, at the water's edge, all of the women. It can be everybody, but I'm also seeing women because I think this was a sacred rite that has happened in many traditions from before. So whether I'm remembering that or whatever it is, it's a powerful moment to be with the sea or the rivers and let that message of I dance, I live, I sing, I speak for peace, take this message and activation. And on my YouTube channel, there is a meditation that takes you through connection with the ocean. But what I want to do around the world is to inspire all of us together. Can you imagine with the
Mm.
and the drumming and the being at the beaches and the waters, wherever we can, that
Yeah.
amount of connection and activation. And in a way, that's the water and the sea washing ourselves as well, where we're holding so much of that collective trauma of war,
Mm.
and we're coming back into restore and regenerate, and from survival into creative empowerment.
From war to restore. I liked that.
I like that too.
Yes.
Note
Yeah,
to
yeah.
self.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel that there is a more of a collective awakening, because this war in Palestine is really getting the publicity,
Yes. Yeah.
whereas more than any before, I don't remember this kind of peace shouting, during the Gulf War, or in Syria not so long ago, and different things. But Palestine really seems to because I feel that people are really kind of activating into this new earth energy, and we know that this isn't part of it. Like it's almost like people can feel it more now,
Yes.
you know?
Yeah. And whereas before people would maybe put their heads in the sand,
Yeah.
and again the polarization of
Yes.
all of this, and ultimately, I mean, this is the other thing. Ultimately, we want peace.
Mm.
Everybody on every side in every war, the human part, that they're not the ones that are pulling the strings, but want peace. We want simple things.
Yeah.
We want connection, community, peace, love, and harmony.
Mm.
And so it feels like that dream is shattered into a million pieces, but I think we understand that sometimes that dream maybe has to break for a new one to come through, and a new one that is grounded, taking what we learned from the past, but really shifting this forward, and finding that, courage. And that's why I have the, two other poems, which is Courage and You Are the Oracle, again for reminding people about where they hold their focus, where they hold their attention, and understanding that, and understanding how we often try and rob somebody of their light, but we can't.
Mm.
I want us to.
Oh, I've
I,
people have tried to rob me of my light,
ah,
I can tell you.
yeah,
It's really, really been a life's work to protect my light, and they haven't won.
they haven't won.
I've had
And
everything thrown at it. I'd love you to read that, because I
yeah,
really resonated with it when you posted it the other day.
was that You Are the Oracle?
Yes.
Yes, I'm going to read Light, and then I'll go into You Are the Oracle, if that's all
Okay.
right, because
Yeah.
I think for anyone that's listening, where we have gone through that time where we've gone, how did I get through it? How have I survived? And our light may just be like the tiniest pilot light, but it's never completely gone out, even if we felt
Yeah.
like we wanted to take our own life.
Yeah.
So this is called Light.
In fact, it's the thing that stopped us from taking our own life.
Yes.
Little glimmer of light that still could find a way. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
I will share with you that I was at a very, very difficult breaking point in my life, and something happened where I was thinking, like, I now need to finish this. And a baby deer appeared in front of me on the road. Like, it just almost, I didn't see it go into the road, it just was there. So I scrammed, on my brakes. I didn't hit it. Oh, thank God. And it made everything make me stop and think, if I can't kill a deer, how can I kill myself as well? How can I go to that? It just stopped. It made me rethink everything again. And I went home and I rang the Samaritans, and they were really helpful. And they said, we didn't recognize anybody that had been going through what you've been going through would be feeling the same. Do you not realize that?
Mm.
And I was like, okay, that helped.
It's valid.
And it's valid.
Yeah.
So, darling, this is called Light.
Okay.
You can't touch my light. You can't blow it out. You can't damage it, even when you shout. You can't have my light. It's not yours to keep. It's precious and perfect, pure and true. And the same light in me burns within you. So you don't need my light. You have your own. We are blessed to light our own way home.
I love that. But funnily enough, the way my silly brain works
Yes.
is that it reminded me of Dolly Parton when she says, don't take my man, you could have any man you want, kind of thing. Don't take my light, you've got
Yeah,
your
yeah,
own.
yeah, yeah. I don't know that song, but I'm feeling the vibe. I'm feeling the
Oh,
vibe.
it's Jolene.
Oh,
Jolene.
Jolene. Oh, yeah. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, this is you are the oracle that you loved when I read this. So
Mm.
we go. You are the oracle. No, this is not rhetorical. Not you in a past life, but you now, fully alive. Because your attention defines and defies convention. You are the intervention, the disruptor or corrupter, the imagination conductor. You are the oracle. For what you see, yes, it will be. Your vision becomes your template, and I do not exaggerate. What you hold in your mind's eye can amplify your mission to bring what you choose into fruition. You are the oracle, the world bringer, the soul singer, the bell ringer. With every thought, you bring forth your reality. We are the oracles. For what we perceive, we will receive. So let's create magic for all, and through our call, remind one and all that we all are the oracles that we have been waiting for.
I just love it because we are. And I think people like you and me that have visions and then create it, we know this. And to
Yes,
get that message out to everybody, like
yes,
you can visualize something and create it, be the change, that old
yeah,
saying.
yeah,
That's all it takes, is for you to be the change, for you to create, for you, and how powerful we are.
yeah. How
People don't
powerful.
realize, do they?
No, and I think again it's about that this integration between um your soul's desire and your uh, human desire as well. That sometimes
Mm.
we'll find that there's oh, I can't, the buzzword is manifest, isn't it? I can't manifest this or I can't manifest that. I always feel that as a child, I had an expansive imagination that always thought that there wasn't any limit. So on one level, it doesn't feel, if I feel I can zoom to the stars, I feel I can zoom to the stars. If I can, all of those aspects. So obviously some people will go, well, you can't obviously do that. But on another level, in my imagination and my sacred activation of that, well, I just have.
Mm. When I was a child, I knew that someone was listening.
Oh, okay.
So I knew that I could order things. I
Oh,
knew
I
that,
love that.
so I could so the first time I remember fully manifesting was I was about 4 years old, and our supply teacher was leaving the class. So our teacher said a boy and a girl can come shopping with me for her present. And I thought, oh, that would be really fun.
Yeah.
So I spoke to them and I went, let it be me, let it be me, let it be me. And she did the eeny, meeny, miny, mo on their toes, and it was me.
Oh,
And it was like, oh, so I can just ask for things and they come. And then I remembered doing this, and I was then an adult, and I was at a raffle, and I looked at my number, and so I connected in and I said, let it be number 34, let it be number 30. And they called my number out, and I thought, God, it
beautiful.
really is that easy. But I think you have to have the belief. But I've always just, and then, yeah, it's always been very, very easy and powerful to do
Yes.
it that way, because, but then the communication is vice versa as well. It's not that I just order things in. They tell
No.
me, they tell me what to do. So Elevate, I was
Yes.
told to do that. And I said,
Yes.
that's a bit of a big ask, but we had
Yes.
to sign, and we had, there were things.
Yes,
Um,
it's exactly that. It's that lovely, the balance of giving and receiving.
yes, yeah,
And
yeah. So I do feel like a servant to whoever, whatever.
Yeah.
But I've got a great belief in the connection because it's never let me down. The it's been reinforced over and over again.
Yes, darling. Love
Yeah.
that. Love that. It's important. I
Yeah.
think as we shift into this next sort of timeline, we're going to be more aware of what we can bring into fruition, and particularly collectively as well.
Yeah.
I
And
think
also the superpowers that are that we're kind of adopting during this time of remembering and awakening and shifting. And I was talking to Bob Hillary the other day on this podcast, and he was talking about these superpowers that he's adopted with channeling light language and things like that. Well, my 9-year-old son was pushing me on the swings yesterday in the park, and every time his hands touched my back, it tickled. The energy
oh,
that was coming from his hands was, and I was feeling quite tired yesterday, and I think it's because I've just come down with this cold. It's all tying in. But as he was pushing me, anyway, he activated this energy, and I just felt amazing for the rest of the day. And I said to him, "You have got magic powers. Do you realize that?" Like, and when I was pregnant with him, I actually had received the Munaiki rights, the shamanic
oh yes,
rights,
I know
and they
that.
said that he would have received them too. And yesterday, honestly, I thought, wow. And he's done sound baths on me before, and he's never
Oh, I love
doesn't really
that.
know what he's doing. He just does it. But
Yeah.
it's the power that I receive from him is incredible.
I love that,
And I
darling.
think the younger people, my friend Natalie, who I spoke to on here, she lives in Peru as a shaman, but she's really witnessing younger people and
Yes,
the magic that's available to them right now.
yes,
They're just
yes.
noticing it. And yeah, and as parents, we need to really be helping them
Develop them.
navigate this,
Yeah, absolutely. And there's so much, isn't there, within sound and healing and frequency, and this is part of what I do when I work with clients as well. Is that as we've got older, we've kind of lost that ability to perhaps to play, or if one of our visions hasn't come into the reality we thought it would,
Mm,
then that resentment kind of shuts us down. Whereas with children, there's this beautiful remembering of who they are in their freedom,
mm.
and that's before we impose anything on them. And I think that natural creative ability we all need. We learn from the children, for sure, for sure.
And then the young adult, the sort of late teens, early adults that are coming through
Yeah.
these scenes now with their music and their
Yes.
poetry and their,
Yeah.
it's incredible what
Yeah.
the younger people now that we've paved the way for them.
Yes.
It's you know, it's just magic, yes.
Yeah, darling.
So when you come to Elevate,
Yes.
we are planning on you're doing your own workshop, aren't you?
Yes.
And you're also going to read some poetry at the end of an ecstatic dance,
Oh, good. Yes.
because I thought that that would be a very amazing time when everyone's kind of danced and shifted their energy and they're at the sort of highest vibration, and then they're lying
Yes.
there ready to receive. It will be like
Yeah.
an activation.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely. I love that. Love that. Love that. Yes, I'm excited, darling. And in the sort of with the workshop or the experience, it will be uh taking some of the shamanic work that I do and the medicine women work that I do with people, taking them through a poetic journey of a connection back to self, and allowing for opportunities to empty and to re-envision as well. So I'm excited, and hopefully the tent just doesn't lift off.
And
But
will you
I'm
be singing in there? Because
oh
we just
yeah,
had a little prayer at the beginning, and when you started singing, oh, every hair just stood
oh
on end, and I just felt like I was being held in a motherly energy when it
yes,
was just so
that's
blissful.
exactly, well, because I when I sing my medicine songs that I write, I'll share one um now that works with connecting with the peace ceremonies as well. But if you like just to transmit for you and anyone listening and watching, peace for yourself as well. So we can just close our eyes. May there be peace in your ease and peace in your west. May there be peace in your north and peace in your south. May there be peace without and peace within, as your journey of peace begins, as your journey of life it brings, as your journey of love it sings. This love will carry. This love will carry you. Oh, oh, this love, this light, this love will carry you home.
Stunning.
Oh, thank you, darling. Thank you so much.
Oh, it's been such a pleasure to have you, and yeah, just to share so much of your light in just this short space of time. And I
Uh,
cannot wait to be in a field with you this summer.
oh, me too. We'll be in our field of dreams, won't we? That is what's happening.
Yes, of peace and activations and all of it.
Yeah, all good things in a lovely community that you've curated, darling. So just big honor to you and all that are coming and the land that is there to hold us as well and our sacred intentions. Yeah.
Oh, thank you, darling.
Thank you so much.